And welcome to Capital Talk, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of Kenya, and now more than ever. I'm Jeff Koinange. Now, all this week, if you've been watching Capital Talk, you know we are talking to the true legends of radio. That's right, the folks who made it possible for us to be doing what we're doing, and also they played their role in shaping the future of this country. Like my guest today, if there ever was a legend, this is the man, and many of you have been requesting that we put him on the bench. Finally, we've managed to, even though he's a very busy man, still working. I tell you, if I tell you his age, you'll be shocked, so I won't tell you. All I'll tell you is he started working for VOK, that's right. It was then Voice of Kenya back in 1964, even before some of us were born. That's right, worked his way up, and a couple of years later, he coined a phrase that everybody talks about to this day. Huu Ni Uungwana. He'll tell us how he came up with that. Later on, he worked for the Presidential Press Services for a little while, and then he was removed under very suspicious circumstances. But apparently he was a favorite of Daniel Arap Moi, and Daniel Arap Moi recalled him, made the people get him back on his team. He'll tell us about that as well. His most famous incident, 1982 attempted coup d'etat. Remember that? My goodness, are you sitting back? Need I say more? The true legend on the bench today, Leonard Mambo Mbotela.
Thank you so much,
my
Jeff.
brother. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
It's good to see you, man.
Thank you so much indeed, Jeff.
I'm telling you, you raised us. In a way, it was people like you who raised us, because we would switch on the radio and there was Leonard.
Yes.
Whether it was a Jamhuri Day, Madaraka Day, you're commentating.
Thank
we
you.
were all glued.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that.
Absolutely.
First of all,
yes,
I'd like to thank very much Jeff for coming up with this idea of inviting we legend broadcasters. Thank you so much.
You're most
indeed.
welcome, my
Keep
brother.
it
You're
up.
most welcome. Tell me something, Leonard. Did you know growing up, did you know that you were born to do this?
Yes, I think I knew, because I think I'm a born broadcaster, because all along since I was in school, I really wanted to join broadcasting. Because I tell you what, when I was at Kitui school, I used to fold a magazine, I used to fold a newspaper, and then pretend as if I'm in the studio. I would say, Hii ni African Broadcasting Service, then, before Voice of Kenya.
Yes.
Huu ni Leonard Mambo Mbotela akiwasomea taarifa ya habari. So my schoolmates were dormant mates were telling me, oh, please stop that, we are busy studying, what's wrong with you? But one of them told me, I can assure you one day you'll become a great broadcaster. And here I am. Wow. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Akakwambia hivyo?
Akaniambia namna hiyo, and here I am.
Fantastic.
Kabisa, kabisa. This was way back in 1960.
Before independence? How did you get the job with Voice of Kenya?
Before that, I was so impressed by people like Simeon DeSanjo, who are great broadcasters then. The late Stephen Kikumu, John Gitonga, Samuel Sore, Elizabeth Akinyi, Sally Mohammed, and many others. Those were my inspiration. So how did I get this job? I remember I used to work with East African Standard way back in 1964, from January up to October, as a linotype operator. And I was the only African among Asians and Goans at that time. Before then, I was in Nakuru. I worked for Nakuru Press, Kenya Times newspaper. And then the late Francis Hamisi, who was then the editor of Baraza, Swahili newspaper, called me and told me, I'd like you to come and work with this East African Standard on the Baraza side, on the Swahili newspaper. So I came to Nairobi. This was 1964. So while I was working with East African Standard, I used to present a part-time program, Salamu za Vijana, at Voice of Kenya there. And I was still keen to join broadcasting. So I approached Mr. Simeon DeSanjo, who was a very powerful man. He was then the head of Kiswahili service. And the late Stephen Kikumu, by the way, Simeon DeSanjo is still alive.
He's still alive, yes.
And then the late Mr. Stephen Kikumu was the then controller of radio programs, and they were very powerful people at that time. So I approached him and told him, Bwana DeSanjo, kukiwa na nafasi hapa, I would like to join you people because I like broadcasting so much. He said, right now I don't have any vacancies, but I'll call you when a vacancy arises. So I went back to the Standard worked there. Then one day he called me. I couldn't believe it, Jeff. He called me and said, "Habari gani? Uko wapi?" Na niko kazini bwana, umetuwaki here. Sasa bwana, nafasi imetokea bwana. One of the announcers behaved badly and he was fired. So he called me, told me, "Leta barua zako." So I presented my paper. I'm telling you, Jeff, I could not believe it that I'm joining Voice of Kenya. I was so excited. And I left the East African Standard without telling anybody. I just left and walked away.
Yeah.
So Voice of Kenya had to pay East African Standard. Yeah, because I left without giving any notice.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was so excited. That's how I joined Voice of Kenya. So I started as a program assistant. Yeah.
And then when you first went on air, what was that like? What were those days like?
I'm telling you, I was so excited, as I've just told you, because I couldn't believe that I, Leonard Mambo, now I'm on air. You know, as I told you, I used to follow the newspaper. Now it was really in the studio.
To millions of Kenyans.
To millions of Kenyans. So I started with the program Salamu za Vijana. I used to conduct Salamu za Vijana.
Yes.
And I remember Salim Mohammed was the one who received me very well there. And he taught me how to operate a studio and how to face the microphone. Salim Mohammed, I remember Aisha Mohammed, who is now Asha Mohammed, got married to somebody else.
Yes.
And also the late Joe Kamamto. Those are my mentors, including Simon DeSanjo himself. Because I remember when we used to do outside commentary during the national days.
Yes.
These were only done by two people, Jeff. This is Simon DeSanjo and Stephen Kikumu.
Only?
Only.
No one else?
No one else. So I proved to be good because I used to accompany him.
Yes.
And I proved to be good.
Yeah.
So I said, can you try? I said, yes, I can try. I said, hamjambo wasikilizaji, hapa ni Jamhuri ambapo hii leo mzee Jomo Kenyatta ndiye mgeni mheshimiwa katika sherehe za leo. I said, stop. So he said, next time, me, I just stay in my office.
You take over?
You take over.
Oh.
So I started that way up to now.
But Leonard, I mean...
Football commentaries.
Yes.
Same
thing.
It was just Simeon DeSanjo and Stephen Kikumu. And I used to accompany them. So one day, Stephen Kikumu fell sick. So I happened to be around there. His voice was hoarse.
Yes.
So he told me, kijana, yes sir, unaweza kujaribu hii? Nikamwambia nitajaribu sir. So I tried. It was, I remember very well, it was City Stadium. Hapa ni City Stadium ambapo mashindano ya mpira leo ni kati ya timu fulani na fulani. Fulani anakwenda, anampigia Kadege pale. Kadege anampigia Kalibala. Kalibala goal! Kikumu could not believe it, and I was fast, very fast, more than him.
Yes.
And I knew all the names.
Yes.
So he said, kijana, sasa nitakuachia mpira na kila kitu.
You were born to do this, Leonard.
Kabisa.
You were born to do it.
As I told you in the beginning, I believe up to now that I'm a born gifted broadcaster.
And you know, Leonard, doing live commentary is the most difficult thing.
I know. It is very difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've done this for many years.
Because
I remember one day, I went with one of our trainee commentator at Nyayo National Stadium during one of these national days. Jeff, I'm telling you, that boy was really shocked because I had no script, I had nothing. I just done my homework, and I knew what I was talking about. It was during Jamhuri Day. So it all came from my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a
I had
natural.
no script. I just started up to the end without referring to any newspaper or without referring to any script. That was me.
You are a natural, Leonard. You
yeah, when the duty announcer handed over to me, I said, thank you very much. Asante sana, you are real Mari. Then I started up to the end without referring to any notebook or any newspaper.
Yes.
Because I know the history of this country.
Right.
And you know, if you want to become a very good commentator or a very good broadcaster for that matter, you have to have a knowledge of current affairs. You know, there are some people, there are some commentators, there are some announcers who they don't even know the names of the ministers. Because I remember one day somebody was reading news and then he referred to Dalmas Otieno as the Minister for Labor. Imagine, a newsreader said, Waziri wa Labor, Bwana Dalmas Otieno. I had to call to the station and told him, please, in your next bulletin, correct this. Dalmas Otieno is not the Minister for Labor, he's the Minister for Public Service.
That's just wrong.
The Minister for Labor is John Munyes, and they were shocked.
Oh.
Because you as a reader, you should also know, you just don't go there to read news blindly. No, you should correct these things. You should know.
That's good advice, Leonard. That's good advice. Yes. Let's go back to the days of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, yes, that's right.
So you're there in Nyayo City Stadium back then, commentating or Huru Park.
Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was very powerful man. That man was a statesman, and he was presentable. Very tough. He used to walk like this, majestically, because he knows that he's ruling this country.
Yes.
So when he enters the stadium, people went, "Way!" Then during his speeches, that Mzee, whether you like it or not, you just listen to him.
You're sauti.
Sauti yenyewe, very powerful voice, nguvu kabisa.
So
because he used to nguruma kama simba kabisa.
And he knew your father.
And you could not even look at him say like this.
No.
His eyes, bwana. You just look at him at once. And then you look.
But he knew your dad.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yes. Oh, yes. You mean the late Kenyatta?
Yes.
The late Kenyatta knew my dad, yes, because I remember he used to come to Mombasa a lot. And at that time, my father was the director of Nyali Estate. So he used to visit my father, and also my father used to go to State House. And my father, maybe you'll be happy to know that he was a choir master. He was a musician, apart from being an educationist those days.
Yes.
But he was also a musician. He used to conduct a choir there, known as church choir, Emmanuel's church choir. And also there was this Mbotela church choir, which was very famous.
Yeah.
So whenever Mzee goes to Mombasa, I used to ask for that Mbotela choir. Wapi ile choir Mbotela? So people like Mahihu at that time was a PC in Mombasa. Koinange used to run around calling my father, Mzee nataka choir yako. So he used to take that choir there to entertain Mzee.
When was the first time you went?
It so much.
When's the first time you met Mzee one-on-one?
Well, you mean Mzee Jomo Kenyatta? The first time I met Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was 1975. We had come from Zambia. Me and my colleague Salim Mohammed went there to do football commentaries because our Kenya team took part in this Senior Challenge Cup. So we went there, we stayed there for almost 2 weeks. So during the final between Kenya and Zambia, we won in front of the president of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda, with his white handkerchief. Believe you me, that fellow wept. He couldn't believe that his team could be defeated in front of him. We defeated Zambia 2-1, so he came with the trophy here. So at that time, Mzee was at Nakuru. He used to go to Mombasa, Nakuru, Mombasa, Nakuru. He hardly stayed in Nairobi here. So we were told to take that trophy to Nakuru, and he was very excited. He was very happy to learn that Kenya had won that trophy. So we traveled all the way to Nakuru. So he hosted a party for us, and during his speech he said that mimi nilifuata sana ile matangazo yalikuwa huko na nilifurahi mulishinda. So when he was going around to greet players and officials, he came across us, me and Salim Mohammed. I told Salim, I just greet this old man. Salim, I said, wait, don't do it. I said, no. Habari mzee, mimi ni Leonard Mambo Mbotela. Then he just did it. Oh, he touched my shoulder. I was very happy. I told him mimi ni mtoto wa bwana James Mbotela yule Mombasa. Oh, mtoto wewe ndiye litangaza huko Zambia. Naambia ni mimi sana mwenzangu hapa Salim Mohammed. So he was very, very happy to meet me. So that was the first time I met the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and I was so happy. Very happy.
That's history right there.
Because it was very close.
Yes. Leonard, this is
because to go near that Mzee at that time.
Ngumu. Na watu waogopa.
Watu walikuwa wanaogopa sana yule mzee bwana. As I told you earlier, macho yake bwana, kana mchezo bwana. Kama simba, you only look at him once and then you turn away.
I want to talk about that. And also Huu Ni Uungwana. Lazima tuongee hiyo mambo. That's an incredible phrase which still resonates today. 1982 coup. I know you were in the thick of things. In the thick of things.
And I thank God that I'm still alive.
Correct. And you're still working today, Leonard.
I'm still working because I love my job. I love microphone. Broadcasting is in my blood.
It's in your blood, my
Yes,
brother.
yeah.
After the break.
Thank
After
you.
the break.
Thank you.
Good grief. This is the true legend right here on the bench. When we tell you that you cannot get these kinds of guests anywhere else, you cannot get these kinds of guests anywhere else. Leonard Mambo Mbotela, true legends. His career spanning back nearly half a century. And guess what? He still gets up to go to work at KBC. Wow! Don't even think of going away, because Capital Talk is back with a legend in a moment. And welcome back to Capital Talk. What a guest we have on the bench today. Leonard Mambo Mbotela has been the voice of radio for the past half century almost, and he still gets up to go to work. He says it's in his blood. Bottom line, live commentary, football, national events, you name it, he'll get on the mic and do his thing. Wow!
You are very right, actually.
Huu Ni Uungwana?
Huu Ni Uungwana is a famous program.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did it start?
I believe you also like it.
Oh,
Listen to it.
loved it.
Thank you.
Still listen, still
Thank you
watch.
so
Now it's on
much.
TV.
It's now on TV.
How did it start, Leonard?
Thank you. That's a good question. Well, it happened one day we went to one of the pubs. In fact, it was just Pan-Africa Hotel here.
Yeah, in the 60s.
In the 60s. This was way back in 1966. Myself and my colleagues and some ladies there.
Yeah.
By that time, we were young stars.
Yes.
Terrorizing everywhere, rioting.
Yeah.
So we went to that pub. We were waiting to be served. So one of our friends, Bwana, he was very impatient. Instead of him waiting to be served, he started shouting, banging the table. Wapi hao what? Hello, oe, nani uko hapa? I said, what, Bwana?
Yeah.
Do you know where we are here, Bwana? This is Pan-Africa Hotel, Bwana.
Yeah.
We are not in Karibaindo here, Bwana. Yeah? We are not in Majengo. What's the matter with you, Bwana? I told him, oh, this is very bad. So everybody went, what these
Yeah,
people
they were
shouting
yeah,
like this. And you know, there were some Wazungus and other people.
You're behaving
What is
badly.
it? Behaving badly, kabisa, shouting. So from that day, Jeff, after I had somared him,
Yeah.
I started this program, Huu Ni Uungwana, to teach people how to behave, to teach people to come with good behaviors.
Yes.
Kabisa. So from that day, I approached my boss. By then it was Mr. Simeon Dasanjo, who was the head of Kiswahili service.
Yes.
So I shared with him my idea. He bought my idea. Then the program started in 15 minutes. Then after about 6 months, it was a 30 minutes program, Huu Ni Uungwana, that is radio.
Wow.
So from 1966, the program went on, and I used to receive so many comments from listeners,
Yes.
and letters from
Yes.
listeners, saying that they liked that program so much.
Wow. You changed the face of Kenya.
Kabisa, and I'm happy because I used to receive letters from my listeners
Yes.
and other people saying that they have changed their behaviors.
Yes, because of
after
listening to you.
my program, Huu Ni Uungwana.
It's incredible.
Kabisa.
And now it's on TV.
Now it's on TV.
Fantastic.
Maybe you'd like to know how do I do where do I get all these
Yes,
ideas?
yes.
I do my own research here and there, and at the same time I receive so many letters from my listeners. They are giving me more ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course I vet them because
Yes.
you know there's some obscene language.
Sure.
So I have to go through them, and then I use the proper one. The rest I just put in the other space.
Oh, incredible. Leonard, let's fast
So
forward.
the program is now
Yes,
on TV.
It's
by
on
the
TV,
way.
correct.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. August 1st, 1982.
I know you'd come with that question.
Everybody talks about it, Leonard.
Yeah, it's very true.
So, Kenya Air Force personnel take over VOK in parts of the city, right?
Where were you, by the way?
I went to rugby that afternoon.
You were in Nairobi at that time?
I was in Nairobi, yeah, 1982. And then my friends wanted to go out. I didn't want to go out. I went home. So I was at home when all this happened. But you were at home as well.
On that day?
Yes.
No.
That night?
Yeah. No, I was not at home.
Where did they
Actually,
find you?
on the eve of that day, I had escorted my sister, my late Pauline, who was going to Canada. This was on Saturday night. So after I escorted her, I decided to go home straight because I was so exhausted. I said, let me go home and rest.
Yeah.
So I went straight home. By that time I was living at, I was staying at Ngara government quarters. So I went home. It was about 11 something. I was so exhausted. I went straight to sleep. By 4:30, I heard gunshots, bana, outside my window, the whole estate, everywhere. We had ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So my mama watoto asked me, hiyo ni nini? Nikamwambia, hawa ni polisi wanafunza na wahalifu. But it continued, bana, that gunshots. I said, what is this? What could this be? By 4:45, Jeff had a knock on my bedroom window. So by that time I was the head of Kiswahili and vernacular services. Maybe I thought there was nobody to go and read news. Yeah. There was nobody to open the station. So the driver has come for me to go and save that situation.
Yeah.
So the driver kept on knocking my window. Mimi nikainuka. By that time I was in my pajamas. I opened the window. So I knew the driver very well. His name was Wainaina. He's now with Royal Media Services. Yes. So I stood there. Nikamwambia, Wainaina iko nini bwana? He could not even talk. He just gestured. He said, kuna mtu anashika bunduki pale. As we were speaking with Wainaina, I had a voice bwana. Wewe ni Leonard Mambo Mbotela? I said, ni mimi. I'm giving you 2 minutes to dress up. Where am I going bwana? Where am I being taken to? Yeah. So I went back. And Wainaina just vanished, kabisa alipotea. Yeah. There was the amazing plantation there. He went inside and disappeared, kabisa. So I went inside, I told Mama Toto, my kids, bana, niombeeni Mungu, please pray for me. Because I'm being taken, I don't know where I'm taken to. I don't know what is happening. Yeah. So I went there, kumbe, little did I know that the fellow who came for me was Ochuka himself. Mwenyewe. You might ask, I mean, you may want to know, yeah, how did they know my house?
Yes. How do they know your house?
You know, Wainaina was in a VOK vehicles, and by that time the vehicles were colored.
Yes.
White, green, red.
Correct.
So they were known all over. That is a VOK vehicle. That is a VOK. Gari ya VOK. So, as he was going around now, Wainaina, to wake up those early announcers and early news readers, yeah, he was stopped, yeah, by this fellow bwana. Hey, gari ya VOK? Ndio, unaenda wapi? Naenda kuamsha watu asubuhi wa kufungua station na kusoma habari. Unajua kwa Leonard Mambo wewe? Naambia ndio. Peleka sisi wao. Lakini wacha hii mambo ya kwenda kuamsha watu, tupeleka sisi huko. Wewe una habari iko nini? So he came with these people. Kumbe that was a Chuka bana.
So when you were driving with the Chuka back to the station, was he talking to you?
No, he was not talking to
silent.
me. He only told me one word, which I remember up to now. Cooperate with us, or else we'll blow off your head. I'm telling you. And don't ask questions. I said, ndio bana, nimesikia. Kwani kuna nini? Tuenda wapi? Unanipeleka asema wewe, don't ask questions. What we know that serikali imepinduliwa. Pass, and I kept quiet. So we went to KBC via town, we passed town, they stopped there, they broke some shops, they took shirts, shoes, everything bana, yeah, clothes. So they told, wewe unakaa ndani ya gari kufanya nini? Kuja na wewe chukua viatu. Sorry. Nikasema hapana, mimi am okay. So they went there bana, they took those viatu. Little did they know kwamba vile viatu, they were left-legged bana.
Zote.
Right
leg bado iko kwa store.
Right leg iko kwa store, ile kwa display. So we went to KBC.
Yeah.
We went straight to the studio, to the Kiswahili service studio. Ochuka and his rebels, man. There were so many of them. So he just scribbled some announcement and told me, read this. So I said, yes sir. Wananchi, serikali imepinduliwa, mahabusu wote wafunguliwe, polisi wote ni raia, wananchi mnaomba msije town, kaeni majumbani mpaka mtakapoambiwa baadaye. So I kept on repeating that announcement. Then he asked me one thing, bana, that man, bana, how do I know that we were on air? That there is this monitor, when it goes like that, sir, we are on air. He couldn't believe me. He went outside and get a radio, bana. Get a radio. So he was listening and said, yeah, we're on air.
How long did this go on for?
So, after about half an hour, after about an hour, in fact, that was from 5, 6, 7, at 8 o'clock, no, 8:30, I remember, 8:30. No, before that, they had asked me for muziki wa kijeshi. So I told Bwana Chuka, bana, mimi sijui muziki wa kijeshi uko wapi. In fact, the library is closed, and the librarian is at home. Wapi library? So we went there, piga risasi ile mlango, tukaingia ndani. Wapi muziki wa kijeshi? Mimi I don't know. So we went back to the studio. So as we were chatting there, one of their colleagues came and shouted to their colleagues and said, hey, my colleagues, we are being attacked by loyal forces. Wow. They all scattered, bana. They ran away. They left me there alone, bana. They did not even tell me about it. No. He just came and made that announcement to his colleague. Wakatoroka. So me, I was just left there alone. I said, what? Mimi nikiachwa hapa, I left an LP. Playing this music by Tabule. Ta-ta-tan. Baby touch me. Baby touch me.
Yes.
Baby kiss me. I left that one on the timetable. Yeah, because it was a long play.
Yes.
So I decided to also go away. So I went to one of the studios and I ducked under the table there. Stayed there, Jeff, for about 1 hour, trembling, bana. But I prayed God. Please, oh God, help me. I don't know what is happening and I'm alone here. Please take care of my family. So after about 1 hour, I decided to come out of that hiding. I stood up, I peeped through a glass door. I saw Mahmoud Mohammed coming in like this.
General
mwenyewe bana. He was holding a small pistol. So when I saw Mohammed, I was relieved. I said, let me go. So I came out. Then I raised up my arms and said, I am Leonard Mambo Mbotela and I work here. Hey, having said that, there was an askari who was standing next to Kiswahili Service Studio. Bana. I'm telling you, Jeff, believe me, God, he was aiming at me like this. Mungu. Huh? He aimed at me like this, bana. So after saying I'm Leonard Mambo Mbotela, he told me, kuja hapa. Nikaenda. Where is your ID? Luckily, fortunately, I had it. So I showed him. He told me, mimi ningeua mtu ambaye nilipenda kumuona sana. Mimi natoka Lodwa. Anambia asante sana. As we were chatting, bana, Mahmoud came, bana, and he knew me before. Leonard, yes sir, get in the studio. Yes sir.
Utangaze.
Nitangaze. Sema kwamba everything is under control. Moi government is still there. Those who are just youngsters, the drunk youngsters, the rebels, everything is under control. Sema hiyo. Kasema yes sir, it was kali bwana. Wananchi wenzangu, nimerudi tena katika studio. Mimi ni Leonard Mambo Mbotela, nawaambia kwamba yale matangazo ya kimbele mwachanya nayo, serikali yetu bado inaendelea. Kwa hivyo msitio na wasiwasi, kaeni majumbani mpaka mtakapotangaziwa tena. Put it in English. Yes sir. Yes sir. My fellow countrymen, this is Leonard Mambo Mbotela again here.
Na kuna script.
Everything is under control. No script bana.
Real experience yako yote.
Experience yangu yote. Bwana Mohammed was very happy bana. So we relaxed. I was relieved. I said I stayed there for 3 days.
Ukitangaza?
Nikitangaza, I was alone bana. Walikuwa wakinipeleka nyumbani na vifaru na Land Rover.
Yes.
They were escorting me at home. Took me home in the morning. They came for me to come and open the station. Take me home again at night after closing the station. Me peke yangu. I stayed there for 3 days, Jeff. Until the 4th day now, Joere Omari, Salim Umanga, and the rest of the announcers came now to at least relief.
Yeah.
Kabisa.
What a time. What a time.
And I thank God that I'm still alive.
Oh, we have to talk about
it. I pray every day that such a thing will never happen again in this country.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even after post-election violence, your mambo ili happened.
Yeah, kabisa.
I hope this No. We have to talk about PPS because that was another amazing period. So how were you called to presidential press?
Well, after the coup 1992, I stayed at KBC there for 2 more years. Then in 1994, 84. 1984, I received a letter from the then head of Presidential Press Unit, as it was known then, Mr. Lee Njiru. He told me that I've been identified to join the Presidential Press Unit. I was very excited. So
was that fun?
Yeah.
It was good fun.
Oh, it was good fun to work for the head of state man of this country.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very happy indeed.
Would you
so
talk
I
to
joined
him?
them as a commentator and a producer.
Would you talk to the president? Would you interact with Moi?
Moi was a man of the people. You know, apart from meeting the politicians, he used to chat around with us, pressmen, his press unit. And when we do a good job, he used to come and say, hey, ile kazi mlifanya ilikuwa nzuri. Wewe Mbotela habari yangu. Naambia mzuri sana. Kazi ilikuwa mzuri sana. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And then when you left, because people say there's a comment you made on TV that hiyo suti ya mzee amevaa si ya kawaida hiyo.
I've heard of that, Jeff. That was a rumor, and I don't know who started that rumor because it's not true. I would have been in jail. Because you cannot talk like that. As a professional broadcaster, can you say ati mzee amevaa shati hiyo moja, amevaa tai hiyo moja, kiatu ni hicho, koti ni hilo, suti ni hiyo? You cannot say like that. I would have been taken to jail or put somewhere. I didn't say that. No.
But then
as you say, I think it is just wivu. I used to praise Mzee a lot.
Yes. But then you left, and Mzee noticed you were missing.
Well, I left there in 1991. Then I went back to KBC, to my old job as a producer and continued announcer. So Mzee noticed this. Wapi Mbotela hii, wapi yeye? So he asked Mr. Njiru, let the rudisha. So I went back. I went back in 1993, and I was very happy indeed. Though my managing director of KBC then, Mr. Philip Okoli, was not happy.
He was not happy.
But he had to release.
He had no choice.
He had no choice. Sorry about that.
Yes. Leonard, finally, and I know you have to come back because this is a piece of history.
People come back.
You have to come back to the bench. Absolutely. But the single most memorable incident of Leonard Mambo Mbotela, other than the coup, which is memorable, tell us, what is it? One incident that just, you always think about it every single day and it comes back to you and makes you smile.
I think it's working for the Honorable then President Daniel Arap Moi. That is one of them, because I was very happy working there. Secondly, this coup issue.
It was heavy.
Kabisa, it was very heavy indeed.
Yeah.
And before we wind up this interview,
I'm
also happy to tell you that you are talking to a musician. You are talking to a musician.
Do you have any albums?
In fact, they're on the way. Coming. Kabisa,
you're a musician.
You're being cool. I am a musician.
Don't you get tired?
I'm a vocalist.
Don't you get tired, Leonard?
During my spare time, over the weekends, I don't work over the weekends. I sing. Zilizopendwa. There is a favorite club here known as Vibro, next to Deep West, Nairobi West there. I sing.
Where?
I have my fans, yes. Zilizopendwa. Jamani ajali haikimbiki. Astahilipo Mola mwenyewe.
You're a legend, man.
Thank you very much.
You're a legend.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Jeff. Thank you so much.
Great story.
Thank you very much.
This man needs to write a book. Wow, what a legend. Leonard Mambo Mbotela, career spanning nearly half a century, still gets up to go to work every single day, still asking people, Huu Ni Uungwana, and a musician on the weekends. This man is an example to the rest of us, and he's still so humble, still greeting people like he just started work yesterday. Amazing. That's what we call legends. These people need to be recognized more and more. What a guest, what a show, what a week it's turning out to be on the bench. You cannot find the kinds of Leonard Mambo Mbotela anywhere else, but right here on the bench on the award-winning station, K24, where as always we are all Kenyan.
All the time. Thank you so much.
Capital Talk is recorded at the Fairview Hotel, the country hotel in town.